Okay, so why don't we do the next mandatory thing, which is each select our reflection deck, which is at random. These decks are supposed to be showing what portion of that shared dream each player happened to have experienced. And they act as a sort of personal quest where the player will get to go through their deck and that will guide them through their journey throughout the board game. So, why don't you pick one?
I'll grab this one here on the side.
Okay. I'll grab this one. Now what we're going to do is look for a specific card which will be untitled.
Right, the one with the little nightmare dude. There we go, little nightmare guy.
Which one is our start card. So why don't you go ahead and read your start card, which will tell you where you should place your actual character to start the game.
Your reflection begins at McAllister's Investigations, which is here. Knowing that nothing happens in this city without John McAllister at least hearing a rumor about it, you've arranged to meet with him and see what he has to say. I've heard some rumors about this beast, but nothing concrete. I've got a contact down at the police station. They've agreed to slip you a copy of the autopsy report. Maybe that'll help. Your reflection continues at the police station.
Look at you. Already investigating. I like it.
We gotta get to the bottom of this craziness.
Okay, I drew Angelic Assistance. It says, your reflection starts at the park. You can't help but return to the spot in the park where you witnessed the horrible events unfold. The sounds of battle and the screams of your companions still ring in your head. The memory of the beast is burned clearly in your mind. You know you need to find all the help you can get. As if on cue, Melisandre appears seemingly out of nowhere and listens carefully as you tell her about your dream. Oh, honey, you have to stop being so literal with your understanding of things. Still, I can help you out for a price. Head downtown. I'll give you a call. Your reflection continues downtown. So, my reflection started me out. And I'm playing Tillman at the park, which is down here. And I know now that I need to go to downtown for the next part of my mission.
Yep. So I need to get to the police station to continue this quest, which is over here. Oh, that's you. That's right. I'm over here. Now my guy only has one movement, so that's my easiest way. I'm thinking, 1, 2, 3.
Now, for those watching, why he's moving 3 times is because you get 3 action points each phase. And the game begins with a day phase, which all the players act in. So Blake Winters, which is the character he's playing, has a movement of 1, so for each action point he only gets 1 space of movement. Whereas my character, Tillman Scott, he actually has the same amount of movement. So
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
both
see
very slow.
Very slow fellows, yeah. That's going to change when I don my cape and fly around town, I assure you.
That's true.
So I'll begin the same way. I'm going to move 1, 2, and then 3. And I'll stop at the library. Those are my 3 action points.
Okay. Well, that's pretty much it for the day, right?
Yeah, so for day phase, there's actually a nifty little card that they give you that kind of tells you the turn order and shows you everything that you need to know about what's going to happen in the day. And basically, for the beginning of the game, the only one that really applies is us acting, as far as I understand it. So, we can continue and then go into night phase. And again, because it's early on in the game, some of the parts of night phase aren't going to apply just yet. Like enemies acting, since they're not on the board just yet. But raising taint will take place.
Right. So each of the main locations on the Beast at the Door card receive 1 additional taint cube, making them more dangerous. And once they reach 5, will spawn an enemy. Well, when they're going to hit 6, they'll spawn an enemy. We'll show you that.
So, you can see already that the clock is ticking.
Right.
So the next thing would be nightmare checks.
Right.
You want to explain how that works?
Well, every night phase, you will roll 6-sided die, and if the die is equal to or less than your nightmare score, which is on this track here, you spawn a shadow. So let's hope that on the very first turn, we don't roll a 1 and spawn a shadow. No, I'm good.
I can see the pressure's on.
Alright.
I'm safe.
No enemies yet this turn.
Okay. The final thing for every night phase is to actually have the dream scenarios effect take place. And in Beast at the Door's case, it's the Beast striking.
Right.
So you draw a Beast strike card.
So here we've got them here. We'll just kind of shuffle these a little bit. And draw the first one. The giant dog has claimed another victim. Its strength grows along with its bloodlust. Place this card face up next to the beast's combat card.
That sounds terrible.
So he's already killed someone on day 1, so now
We're not off to a good start.
he's even stronger when you go to fight him at the end. So we must race to get to summoning him.
Alright, so we've got to do everything we can to stop this thing from killing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Alright. So now it's the day phase.
So, following the order again, day phase tells us that everybody returns to their normal state, which is easy because nothing has happened to us yet. The next thing, which will take place this turn, is drawing an echo.
Right. So I'll draw one. So first, amnesia. You simply can't explain the constant dread you feel over your dreams, mostly because you can't remember them. But you have no doubt they were better off forgotten. Discard 1 artifact. If you do not have any artifacts, gain 1 nightmare. That's nothing yet.
It's a nice way to start. Fortunately for me, I drew touched. An ancient being was pleased by your act of generosity. They granted you a token of their favor that has traveled with you into this world. Draw 1 artifact. I like it. That's kind of cool that the echoes represent the things that you dreamt about and how they're affecting you after you woke up. I guess the first night you have the horrible nightmare with the beast, and now each night thereafter you're getting new echoes.
Right.
So that's kind of cool that you randomly ended up with something stinky, and I randomly ended up with
Not so cool for me.
a dream catcher. And my dream catcher says, crafted by a holy shaman as a ward against nightmares that continually plagued his tribe, it brings peace to those who would walk in the dreamscape. Discard this card to gain 3 conviction.
Wow, that's a lot of control.
Okay. So when it's time for battle, I will be ready.
Well, next step, conviction and nightmare.
So every turn, we gain 1 conviction and 1 nightmare by default.
Oh, I think you need some nightmare tokens.
Yeah, I'm using these fate tokens for now, so that's okay. So, that part's done.
Alright. Now we move again. So I'm still headed over to the police station.
So for the sake of the viewers, why don't you count out each action that you're taking and as you're taking it so that people understand.
So this is 1 action since I only have 1 movement point. This is my second and my third. So, like I said, we've got some slow characters here in our anima that we've chosen, but
Tillman looks like he's no spring chicken. Maybe he's tired. You know.
well, once you turn into the superhero, then you can move across the whole map practically.
We'll see. You're punching people's lights out. So for me, I'm going to take 1 move, 1 action to get to downtown. And since downtown's the next part of my reflection, I'm going to reflect, which is actually one of the actions listed for players and how you continue your story. I'm going to hold this up right here real quick. I don't know that you want to show that. So there'll be a card that will actually explain what each of the actions do and what their costs are, and I can tell you that reflecting takes 2 action points, and I still have 2 because it only cost me 1 to get downtown. So I will draw the next part of the reflection, which is a downtown card. And here it is. So, let's see what happens to good old Tillman. You wander around downtown waiting for Melisandre's call. The entire time you wait, you hear a strange, muffled buzzing. Before too long, you realize you've wandered into a small alley where a shadow has appeared. Oh boy. The shadow spawns downtown. It will not move, and your reflection cannot continue until it is defeated. Well then, guess we're getting this party started.
So now, I'll randomly throw one out there.
Now this warrants to mention that in the final product, here we have shadow tokens that are marked with assigned statistics, but through the magic of genius engineering, there'll be a little dial here that you'll be able to turn and will actually showcase the varying stats as the shadows grow in strength, which is a mechanical encounter as the game goes through. So for now, we'll just use the flat pre-assigned stats. Alright, so what did I get? I got a guy with 2 combat and 2 health, 2 movement.
And 1 damage. And he's going to attack you immediately.
Right, so enemies just attack as soon as they show up. So poor Tillman's walking around in a suit and tie, not ready for this, and I'm getting abused.
Alright.
So let's see what it is here. I have to make a combat test to defend myself against the shadow. And the shadow's combat is 2, so that's the difficulty for the test. And my combat is 1. Now the pink die is going to be my under die, the negative, and the blue die is going to be my positive. So let's see how we do. Oof, not a good day for telling me that's -5. That puts me at -4. Not even close to the 2.
He hits you, so that's 1 damage. Right?
Oh yeah. So we're going to take one of my little health tokens away. Put that out of sight. I've been hurt. They've drawn first blood. I blame you for this.
You're a superhero. You can.
I'm not. Not yet.
Well.
Alright. So that's the end of my turn. And that's the end of the day phase. So we'll go on to the next night phase. Right. And this time we'll go through each component, which unfortunately the first thing that happens is enemies attack.
Right.
And that means I'm getting attacked again.
There you go.
Which is kind of terrible. So we're going to have to take that test all over again. And I'm going to get a -1, so that's going to put me at 0, and he's going to hit me again and do another damage. Tillman is having a horrible day downtown.
You want to think about channeling your animus at some point.
We're going to have to do something about this because I do not want to go down quietly.
Yeah, the first turn.
So that's the only enemy on the board.
Right.
So next would be...
Raising Taint.
You can go ahead.
In the appropriate locations. 1, 2, 3. High school's getting corrupted over here.
Are we somehow already losing? I think we've not had a good showing.
We had a bad draw already. Now we have a nightmare check.
Yeah.
So I already have 3 nightmare here, so...
Now, unlike ordinary checks, nightmares are tested with just 1 die.
I passed.
And he passed. Son of a gun. You're going to make me look like the troublemaker here. So, you just need above a 2.
2. So now you spawn a shadow, which I will draw randomly from this pile of shadows.
Please give me a good one.
Well, this is a prop card. Let's not worry about that. There we go.
Oh, let's see.
Wow, that guy's strong.
Now, the worst part about this is when spawning a nightmare from a nightmare test, the actual nightmare tokens that your character possesses are transferred to the shadow, increasing its health and damage, acting as kind of like a temporary health pool. So this guy actually spawns with 2 additional tokens, and they will increase, like I said, his health and his combat score. So his combat score now is actually a 4 because of those tokens. So I don't even know if it's it's possible with a miraculous roll, I guess.
He might actually kill you outright unless you...
Yes, was not a good showing.
I would
say. I actually do get a +1, so that would give me a 2, but far away from the 4 of the enemy. So the enemy is actually going to take my final health, and we're going to very early in this playtest witness what happens when you get the snot beat out of you, essentially. So
fast. You did not survive that.
Tillman would be laid sideways to represent that he had to doubt and was defeated. And what actually will happen is a doubt point will be awarded to my character. And this doubt point makes him immune to further aggression for the remainder of the turn, but should he end up with 3 doubt tokens, he is done for, and I am effectively out of the game. Now, what getting the Dow point does is restore your lost health, and like I had said earlier, leave you immune to further aggression for the remainder of the phase. So they can't dogpile me while I'm laying down on the ground. Basically, Anima are able to use the doubt and to their advantage by giving in a little bit and making the nightmares less real temporarily. So here would be a good example of that.
All right.
Thank God, because I don't want to get eaten by shadows.
Yeah. Well, you are. Next, we have to do another Beast Strikes card. The beast lies dormant for the night. A regretfully temporary reprieve from the violence.
Okay.
So we're actually safe.
Even though I'm getting mauled, the beast isn't doing anything terrible, which is nice.
Okay, he's not getting any stronger. So that's good.
Whenever you would receive any amount of conviction points, you receive 1 additional. I think that's a good thing. So
Well, now you're going to get some extra.
a little extra conviction.
Alright, now we gain Conviction and Nightmare.
Okay.
You gain 2, of course, because of that.
Now the echoes replace one another; they don't stack.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So that's not bad way to start this turn. Then the next thing is player action. So you've got to go ahead and go since you're the first player.
Now I'm on my next reflection spot, so I'm going to reflect at the police station.
And that takes 2 action points.
Right.
2
And I
of the 3.
draw the next card with the police station on the back, which is this one. There's only one of those. Jude is where the autopsy report for Peter is given to you in a manila envelope. Everything about it is inconsistent. It was declared an accidental death by dog attack, but some of the bites measure almost a foot in length. This definitely wasn't an animal attack. Looks like you're not the only one who thinks so. You notice a faint DCMA symbol in the corner of the envelope. You should head to the DCMA HQ to see if they know anything. Your reflection continues at the DCMA HQ. Oh, that's only 1 space away. So I could actually spend my last action point to move right here and get ready for the next step in the mission.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
We're on the case. Now, for me, I've got to kill these guys. Well, at least have to kill the one that's tied to my reflection. So, I guess it's time for some serious butt-kicking action. That's what I think. It's time to go superhero. Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're gonna get killed again.
Yeah, we've got to draw upon some mighty muscle here. So I think, for the sake of complete overkill, I'm going to channel my animus at full power so I can get a good look at what I'm capable of here. Now, what will happen is the conviction that I'm spending, you can spend 1, 2, or 3 points to channel your animus, and it doesn't take an action point. It is actually a free action. But that conviction immediately gets transferred into your nightmare pool, so you do have to be a little careful when you choose to do something like that. But it does get you access to your 3, and in this case, my superhero cards, which are the ability cards, as well as the passive abilities that the superhero has as well. And it'll let me replace my token with my super cool superhero miniature, which is right here. So, ta-da!
Alright.
For the time being, Tillman Scott is no more. He is a masked hero.
I've never actually used that guy. I hope he's strong enough to kill these things.
I would hope so. So let's see what we can do here. I still have 3 actions to take, and I have 1 card that's granted by my rank 1 that allows me to use Mighty Throw. As a 1-point action, you may play this card to deal 3 damage to any enemy on your location. Well, 3 damage will outright kill the important guy, so I'm going to play that card.
He's got 5 health right now.
Well, I'm not talking about mine, I'm talking about the one from the reflection.
Oh, okay.
I gotta get rid of him to continue with the story, so I'm gonna axe this guy with a Mighty Throw. And since it does 3 damage and he only has 2 health, he's dead. Alright, so score 1 for Team Anima, right? Excellent.
Just taking some notes here for a couple of things.
Okay, so now I gotta see, that's 1 action, I have 2 actions left, and I gotta decide what to do with the second guy. Now, in my superhero form, I have a combat of 4, much better than Tillman's normal 1. But so does this enemy that I'm facing, so it would be an even-Steven deal. I guess what I'll do then is use a second ability that I got from my rank 2 card called I-Beams, which states that as a free action, I can deal 3 damage to any one enemy within one space. So I'm going to do 3 damage to this guy, and I'm going to take the 2 temporary health off that he got from my nightmare, and he's going to take 1 more damage. Now normally we would have to dial, would be able to keep track of that, but in lieu of a dial, we're going to just say, since he has 3 health normal and he's missing 1, we'll just give him 2 health to showcase that.
Right.
So that was a good start, and it still leaves me with 2 actions since that's free. So one of the actions I'm going to take to just make a traditional combat attack. So I'm going to take that test, and since he's missing his 2 bonus points, he now only has a combat of 2. So I'm going to test my 4 and get a -2, of course.
Oh, but
that
still matches the number.
So that's enough to hit him, and the damage dealt by the superhero, wow, is 3. Alright.
So you knocked him out.
So, 2 actions.
He's dead.
2 action points, I should say, spent, and I killed 2 shadows. It's not a bad deal. And I still have 1 action left, and as I have noticed, the superhero has a movement of 5.
Right, so now you can fly around.
That's right, flight. That's what I'm talking about here. So, where do I have to go? My reflection now says, once the shadow is defeated, your phone finally rings. I guess my superhero has a phone too. Oh, looks like you already found the shadow I sent to you to kill. I didn't know you were such a good fighter. Do me a favor, see my buddy Jacob over at the boxing gym. He'll have your next task. Well, this girl knows how to boss a guy around, huh? So I guess I'm going to the boxing gym. That's not all that far.
Well, for you, nothing is that far right now.
I guess not.